Hey guys, thank you for tuning in into Royal Tiger Imports. I'm Uli and this is Sean. Today we want to show you what we just received. We had pouches for the M95 made left and right along with the sling because these things were not available anymore as surplus or anything on the market. So we had a mate, and these are beautiful high quality reproductions. The leather is outstanding, natural leather. And yeah, they fit basically. They're made for the M95. They also will work on the 8890 and of course on the M95 carbine. So what do you think?
I think they're pretty incredible. Like Uli mentioned, these are extremely hard to find in their original condition. There are some pouches available, but again, these are all originals for the most part. They don't really, you don't want to put too much wear and tear on those examples because let's face it, 100-year-old leather just doesn't hold up after time. It does wear. So having these new reproduction parts that you can go out, you can use, you can add to your collection for a very reasonable price, it's definitely a good decision.
Yeah, and by the way, I also want to mention, we teamed up with Milsurp Munitions, and 8x50 ammo will be very, very soon available at Milsurp Munitions. Check them out. They will have it in about a couple of weeks for sale. And this is something you finally can take your Steyr out to the range and take it to the test. So that will be high quality ammunition, box up prime, so you can reload it anytime. And anyways, check them out, Milsurp Munitions. Anything else?
I think that's just about it, but shortly I'll give a close-up of all this stuff and you can get a closer look at it.
Awesome. Thank you for watching. God bless, and God bless America.
All right, folks, let's get a closer look at these rifles and carbines as well as the accessories. Starting with the carbine at the bottom here, this is a 8x56 chambered Steyr carbine. You can tell that a carbine is chambered in 8x56 with the Steyrs when it has a S mark on the chamber like this above the line that marks the alignment of the barrel with the receiver. In addition, this one is particularly quite special and rare because this one is the only one that we found so far out of Ethiopia that has a Brno. This is a Czech factory roll mark. Whether they were produced by the Brno or whether they were possibly remarked by Brno for whatever reason, we are not too sure, but there's a little bit of documentation on these and we're highly interested in checking that out. Again, this is the only one like it that we've seen, and it's really quite rare. And you can see again, there's some differences in the 8x56 carbines. There's some front sight changes. They also will number the front barrel bands along with other components. But the real star of the show here is the sling. You can see, let's start at the front here. The sling loops through the front barrel band. The front barrel bands do vary on some of these Steyrs. This particular one does not have a lower barrel band, but some do. Again, it depends. There's quite a variety. It loops through the front, and the metal buckle slips through any one of the multiple adjustment holes, and you can loosen or tighten it. In addition, if we look at the rear, you can see this one has the wrist-mounted sling swivel. Some of them have them at the lower section. And this is where the sling loops in when you go to initially install it. So you would go by, basically starting with installation, you would take this front end of the sling, loop it through the sling loop. It loops back into itself. And then when you go back to the front, it loops through going rear and then clasps into itself. It's a pretty simple design and it's pretty robust as well, and it's a quick adjustment. You can pull this in and out quite easily. The leather is very stout. It's real natural leather. This is not a pleather, for lack of a better term. It's real metal hardware. As you can see, it's got a nice black finish to it. All in all, I would consider this to be extremely well done. It's a very impressive reproduction. And moving on to the other reproduction items, you can see that we have our left and right side pouch. These pouches have a slight angle to compensate for the fact that the Steyr clip is directional. This is different than some other clips that you see, such as the Carcano clips, the Garand clips, which are either direction. There is no top and bottom per se on some clips, while with the Steyr clip, since it has a large rimmed cartridge, it has to be directional. So you can see these have a slight slant in either direction. Again, these are all old style. These are exact copies of the original, but made with new, very high quality leather. They also have real metal hardware, as well as brass hardware when appropriate. The white stitching is very well done, very robust. And if we pop this open, you can see it has your pouch on the inside. It's very similar to, in style at least, to the German World War II ammunition pouches, the ones that were even styled off of the World War I, with the overhead leather clasp, as well as the mounts on the back for the belt, etc. Here we have another sling coiled up here. You can just get a good look at how it will be when you may receive it. And finally, let's move on to two of the rifles up here. This is just a fairly nice 8890 that we received out of Ethiopia. And in addition, while we're here, we've got some of the Steyr stripper clips, or the end block clips rather, different from a stripper clip. The end block clips stay in the gun until the last round is chambered. And then we've got our rifle up top here. This is a standard 8x50. This is in its original caliber. And this particular one, it's a little hard to see, but it is a Budapest, or rather a Bulgarian contract. This is really quite interesting with the crest that they use on these. And they were both manufactured by Budapest and Steyr. And lastly, if we zoom out, you can see that compared with the 8890 to the 95, you can see the sling swivel points at the rear and the front are in similar lengths of position, meaning that the sling should work nicely and interchangeably between all three models. Thank you very much for watching. God bless.